So yes, the other day we did Starlink. I want to show you what we aim to achieve in the end of the process. Okay, now we already have other service providers, two lines already existent, and Starlink is just the third one. Now I want to show you to showcase our usage for the same and what we intend to do with it. And if it's nice, then maybe you can give me a thumbs up or correct me if I'm wrong on the same, and also maybe just sharing my views. So we have the ISP1. The general norm is no two internet service providers can be down at the same time. Otherwise, what we're trying to do is minimize the risk of internet service providers going down at the same time. For example, fiber, you can have fiber cuts, and if you have two fibers coming into your area, and then you have a fiber cut on both of them, you see both of them went down. The risk is minimal. If suppose the service provider went down and it's no fiber cut, then we remain with the other service provider. But now if we assess a physical damage of the fiber and then we have a fiber cut for both of them, then we all went down. That's why we went for wireless Starlink, minimizing the risk of downtimes. Now we have ISP1, ISP2, and ISP3, the two links that you already have, and the Starlink. So what we're going to do is these three pieces, since all of them are failovers for each other. So what we do is we'll introduce something hapa katikati. We'll call it a load balancer, and the load balancer, we're going to set it on failover. Load balancing means when all these ISPs are active and they are running, we can be able to utilize the whole internet. And failover means suppose one of these or two of these fails, the traffic will still be redirected to one of them. Or if one of them fails, the traffic will be redistributed to two of them. If two of them fail, the traffic will be redistributed to one of them. We're trying to minimize the risk of failure at all costs. Now, for the purposes of security, we're going to also introduce a VPN here so that we can filter the traffic and also introduce a layer of encryption and security around this area. After this has gone through the load balancing and failover and the VPN portion, we are going to introduce a switch, and it should be a smart switch that will support our VLANs, and it will support VLAN, and a smart switch automatically has PoE on it. It's powered over Ethernet to power our access points and then the VLANs. So what happens is the smart switch will have one access points, PoE powered access points, and we can have as many access points as possible to different areas where we need internet. Now the access points in turn is going to help us connect our cameras, the wireless cameras, the Wi-Fi cameras, be it outside or inside. Those who want cameras inside the house or those who want cameras outside the house, we make sure that we have a good coverage with as many access points as possible to cover the blind or the gray areas, and then we put cameras to access the internet on a VLAN, say VLAN X, and then the same access point will also connect to the Wi-Fi speakers, the AP system in the house, so that you have cool music everywhere. You can change between speakers. You can have different speakers singing different things or saying different things. And also it goes on the VLAN, say VLAN Y. And then on the same access point, we'll have users, those who are browsing with phones or laptops. So we can have them on VLAN Y and VLAN Z, because these users need to access speakers. But for the cameras, it will be accessed in the cloud. But you can also do that on VLAN Z, so that the speakers will go back on the cloud. Now, that is it. We're expecting the same performances for all the access points whatsoever in the facility. Now we are going to introduce three other equipments at this level. The first equipment will be our ads blocker. Most of you don't like browsing the internet with very many ads coming in. Literally, we can block these on the DNS level, so that all this, when it goes to access the internet, it has to go through this DNS, which blocks all ad contents that you don't want to view in your network. So literally, you'll browse the internet without any ads. That is inclusive of YouTube and other sites. And then you're going to introduce the on-site backup. The on-site backup, since these cameras are wireless, it has the ability to connect to the cloud. But the cloud is not very cheap. It increases every time because your cameras are continually storing data. So the bill could be lower when the cameras are still new. The first or second, third day, the first month, the bill could be lower. But in the succeeding month, the bill could be higher because the data is continually increasing. Now, a solution to which that we developed for some of the clients was to have them backup instead of doing a wireless camera, because it has SD on it. Around, it supports up to 128 GB on it. It overrides after a month. It starts to override. That means after a month, beyond the month, you won't be able to access anything. So what you do is we introduce a local cloud, which is the on-site backup. So these cameras will back up on this site. So on this site, what you can do is introduce a 4 TB worth of disk, and then do an Ethernet over IP from this site, just a tunnel, to an off-site backup, like that. So just a tunnel. So what this network thinks is that this backup is literally here, but it's virtually here, but literally they are in two physical separate locations, just connected on Ethernet over IP. This is a technology that has been introduced, which is also a VPN kind of. Just the difference is encapsulation and the security levels on it. We don't have encapsulations here on the same. So this is just a VPN kind of technology that we're going to interface with the on-site backup and the off-site backup. So the off-site backup will host up to 120 TB of disk, but we are not going to transfer all this data this way physically. It will take a lot of time regardless of the network, because we really depend on two things. One, the upload speed on the client site, and two, the download speed on the offsite site, on the offsite backup site. So what we'll do, we'll introduce here, and we'll use here what we call the lossless algorithm to help us break down first this camera. When it backs out to this site, the on-site backup, we're going to reduce the pixology, for example, from 4 MPs of pixology to around 720 of pixology. You won't realize the difference, bado utaona colors na watu venye walikuwa and every activity that happened. And then after we reduce the pixology, that means we're going to reduce that up to 70%, say 40%, not 40 but 60% of the general size of the video, and then we shred it into pieces so that we don't have a full load of 40B going across. We only have bits of KBs going across like that. That means that you're going to take a shorter time to transfer this data from point A to point B and then store it as shredded data. When the client asks for it, we are going to use again the lossless algorithm to reverse the process to develop their videos back here. So we'll never lose it. So it can be stored here as 40B, remember, but ikifika huku itakuwa kitu kama 1TB. That's what we'll store. Okay. That is something that we showed you. That's something I shared around 2-3 years ago when we were commissioning this offsite backup. I'm hoping you can find it in one of my videos somewhere. Okay. Now, this whole part, as big as it seems, it's not that big. We are going to fit it in a cabinet. And then on this cabinet, we're going to do redundant power on it. So we are going to have alternating current, that is what you're used to. And then we are going to have green energy, green power. That means, and then this power is connected to the cabinet. The cabinet in turn powers everything. That means alternating current will charge our EcoFlow green backup. The EcoFlow has DC batteries on it. So the AC through the controller, the EcoFlow controller, will charge our DC batteries. And when AC is not available, we're going to use solar, AC or solar power. This is the green power, the solar power. All of them will be charging the DC. So during daytime, when we have solar, this power will go straight to the cabinet. Some of it will be used to charge DC. So AC, the Kenya Power and all that will be a backup for us, because we'll be using solar like entirely. In the evening, we're going to use AC power while charging our batteries. In the event it is in the night and we have a blackout everywhere, Kenya Power is not there, what we'll use at this point is the DC backup power. Now, these ones are the 200 AH batteries, tubular, which can last us, we are talking about 10 pieces, which can last us up to 4-5 days. Say 5 days, So we'll be good without Kenya Power coming back. Plus, we have up to 8 hours of sunlight. So say 6 hours of sunlight. So mchana, these batteries will charge either way. So we can even stay longer without the AC. This is called the offsite, the off-grid power solution here. So stima ikipotea kabisa, hata stima ikipotea kwa nyumba, we still have all these things up. People can still browse the internet because Wi-Fi is still on, and then cameras are still on, security is still there. Yeah, we can also introduce the locks, the door locks, the smart locks around this area. Now, you don't have to worry about intruders and all that, because we have introduced two things. We have introduced the AdSense blockers here, and we have introduced a VPN over here. So chances of being hacked in security are minimal, very minimal. Plus, we introduce another layer called the virtual LANs. So we can have everything run on its LAN, on its VLAN, which in turn reduces the number of the chances, the risks of being hacked. Another thing we'll do is we'll also do MAC filtering. That is on the router. This is actually a router here. on the router, so that we can really filter who is supposed to use and who is not supposed to, literally who is supposed to use, so that any new device that comes in will not be able to access internet or go online or even log on to that network. Yeah, so we'll be doing this in the week. We'll set up step by step. Mostly what we'll do is load balancing, failover, and VPN, since backup and failover we already set up like 1.5 or 2 years ago. We already set up this part, so we're just going to activate this part hapa katikati, and then maybe I can walk you through the whole setup, and then maybe your comments can come in.